Hi there. Thought I'd post a follow-up to my back surgery from 2016. Actually had a couple of requests to do a little follow-up. You never know if anybody's watching these videos or if it's going to be helpful, so it's been really great to get lots of comments and a little bit of feedback from people just letting me know that it has been helpful, so that's great. My back surgery was the TLIF back surgery that happened in March 2016. It is January of 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. So it's been just shy of 2 years, and I feel like I've had, I would say, an above average success rate on my surgery. I've talked to some people who have had a slower recovery, but I haven't really talked to anybody who's had a faster recovery, so that makes me feel really great just to see that I'm on the front end of that spectrum there. I have found that with a few people that had a slower recovery, and from some comments from you guys, it seems like it's a slower recovery when people are wearing a back brace for an extended period of time. Now that could be because they had a lot more intense, meaning several discs were fused. You know, if you had 4 or 5 discs fused, your recovery is going to be completely different. I only had 1. But that being said, just as a recap of the actual surgery, I had 1 disc fused. It was done by Dr. Chad Presmack here in Denver, Colorado. And I was home from the hospital the next day, walking the day of surgery, a couple hours after surgery. And I would say off of my pain meds, I think winding them down after about a week to 10 days, and I think shortly after that, just a couple days after that, completely after my pain meds, I would say the number one thing that contributed to my fast recovery, well, there's 2 things. The number one thing was I used a little mobile electro stim machine. So there was these 4 little stickers, actually there was just 2, that I put on the sides of my surgery site. And then I had a little battery operated pack, which you'll see in some of my other videos. And I just carried it around with me for probably seriously about a month. Had it on almost all the time. And anytime I felt discomfort, I would just turn that on, and the buzzing would just kind of like trick my mind, and I wouldn't need the pain pills. And so when I was off the pain pills and I wasn't groggy, I was able to walk all the time and keep that movement going. And that, I would say, is the second most important thing that I did, was just keep moving. Because once I stopped moving, things would sort of lock up and freeze, and then it became really, really painful for them to get back going again. So I would say those are my 2 most, the most important things in that recovery. A couple celebrations just to share some examples of how the recovery is going and went. Most recent celebration is I just walked 25 miles over the course of 3 days in New York City with my 13-year-old last 2 weeks ago, right before Christmas. Huge celebration. Absolutely no pain in my back. Pain in my feet. They were swollen from being on our feet all the time and freezing, our hands were cold and whatnot. But as far as pain in my back, I'm not kidding you, 0. I stretch a little bit before bed, but that's just kind of a habit that I have now, is I just kind of do some stretches. I was wearing decent boots. There's a brand called Bear Traps. I have a pair of boots that I really love by them, and I have a pair of sandals that I really love by them. They're not ridiculously cheap, and they're not ridiculously expensive. I think the boots, I paid maybe $100 for them. They've lasted me for many years. I had them even before my back surgery. So they're not specially made for people with bad backs. They're just a comfortable pair of boots with good soles. So Bear Traps, it's B-A-R-E Traps. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. And they're just on Amazon or DSW, all kinds of things like that. Pretty easy to find. So that's a great celebration. All that walking, no pain. A couple other celebrations throughout the course of maybe the last year. Have done horseback riding, surfing, went to a boot camp class at the gym, which is not a typical exercise. I don't typically try to really kill myself at the gym like that. I tend to do much more gentle exercise. Just kind of did it to see if I could and if it would hurt. And I did that actually after year 1, just shortly after year 1. I felt like that was a little bit aggressive, but there was no pain. I felt great. I could do whatever I wanted to. I was really cognizant of my posture and things like that, but it went off without a hitch. And then I'm going back to Costa Rica in a couple more weeks. We're going to do another little surf trip, so we'll be doing some more surfing and maybe some more horseback riding and tons of time on our feet, barefoot. So I just feel really, really like there's a lot of reason to celebrate with the things that I've been able to do. far as things that I'm still not quite there, or I think I'm at the point now where the things that I'm not quite there, I'm kind of never going to be there. My flexibility in yoga is just not there, and it probably never will be because I have rods in my back now. So my back bends, I just tend to back away from those completely. My up dogs, for those of you who know yoga, it's kind of an up, you're on your face down, pushing upwards with your arms. And that, I just don't push it on that. I don't try and extend as much as I used to. Again, just might not ever be able to, and that's totally okay. So not quite as flexible there. And then I still just get a little bit of stiffness when it's cold outside. I think that really is due to the fact that I've got metal in my body, and this isn't medically based or anything, but in my head, I imagine that it just gets cold and kind of irritates the tissue around it. So based off of absolutely nothing except stories in my own head, that's what I'm experiencing, is a little bit of a discomfort when it's cold. I tend to put heat on it from time to time, maybe once a month, just if it feels a little bit stiff. And that's pretty much it. So I feel like the recovery is complete. I'll do my 2-year post-op with my doctor in March, and he'll give me the final thumbs up, and then hopefully I'll be done with follow-ups with him. But I've only had the annual 2017 follow-up, and then I'll have this annual follow-up, and then I'm done. So it's not like I've been going into him every quarter or anything. After the first 12 weeks, I had my surgery, went to PT for 12 weeks, had my 12-week follow-up with him, because that first 12 weeks is really strict. There's no bending, lifting, or twisting for 12 weeks. And I was like super, super strict about that. But after I met with him at 12 weeks, I didn't have to go back for until the year post-op, and then again for the other year post-op. So it hasn't been really intrusive in my life after those first 12 weeks. I haven't been back and forth to the doctor a bunch or anything like that. So would I do it again? Absolutely, no questions asked. And I do hear that when you have these surgeries, that it does tend to sometimes put additional stress on the discs above or below your surgery site, and that there could be a chance that the surgery will have to be repeated with those other disc areas. So if that's the case, not scared, that's totally fine. Also, my doctor gave me great advice and said, if you want to have that second surgery quickly, be a runner. Get out and start running, and we will get you in here for another surgery. So it's just a lot on your disc to have that constant pounding. I imagine it would be the same if I was a really aggressive horseback rider or was doing that very often. I'm doing that maybe twice a year on like a little tour while we're in Costa Rica, so I'm not concerned about that. So that's that. Thanks so much for your comments and your questions, and I'm really rooting for everybody. I'm hoping that everybody has a great success rate as well. There are things you can do to help stay healthy, keep your weight down, have a great surgeon, and do what the doctor tells you to. They're a doctor for a reason. So that's that, and blessings to you all. Thanks.